Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today we're talking CVTs, continuously variable transmissions. What are they? Are they good? Are they bad? Do we like them now because we didn't before? And are we going to see them in the future? Today we're going to talk about them, the cars that they come in, and why they will be a fixture in our lives. We are here with Paolo. We are here with Nix. We are here with Chris. We are here with Francis. I'm Carl. Hello. So, Paolo, what will we be driving today that has a CVT in it?
Well, it's one of the most important models in the Philippines, and it is a Toyota Vios. I think this is an important discussion now because CVTs have becoming more apparent in cars these days, and to see it in a car like the Vios, and we're gonna see next in the City, in the Brio, it means that it's becoming more apparent, and it's important to have a discussion because some people think that it's similar to an automatic when it comes to you know regular drivers, but it's important to understand how they work, how they're different, and how to maintain them. So other models include the Honda City, the new City RS, also has a CVT. So you can see here that CVTs, you know, are really more apparent in regular cars, which means that more and more people are gonna get to own one. So it's really important to have a discussion on it. And next here, we'll discuss further on the mechanical side of it, on the
Me and
pros and
Francis.
cons.
Me and Francis.
You're next
Well,
to
it's
Francis.
more
Yeah.
mostly you. It's mostly you.
Hi.
A discussion. Okay, so this is like a super simplified version. So at least the what people watching gets the concept of what the differences between a manual transmission, an automatic transmission, and then the CVT. So the I think the biggest difference between the automatic transmission and a CVT is the automatic transmission works with gears. The CVT works with a pulley system. So that's the huge difference between the two. So because of those properties, the CVTs has both its pros and its cons. And that's what we're here to discuss today. So a lot of people ask us, does the CVT have any gears? Nope, it doesn't.
Clarify one thing. Basically, the manual to most people it's just going to be either with a clutch pedal or without a clutch pedal. The manual generally has a clutch pedal. All
Yes,
the others don't.
don't
The
have a clutch
others that
pedal.
includes the traditional automatic transmission, the CVT, and things like the dual clutches, which don't actually have a clutch pedal. And what you're saying is that gearing that we look at in the left two photos, there are none for the CVT because it moves on that kind of a spool looking thing, right? So there are no
Yes,
gears in that case. Okay.
yeah.
But when we drive, we have the feeling of gear shifts, right?
Ah, on CVTs,
On CVTs.
if ever you do feel it, it's artificial.
It's
It's an
artificial.
artificial feeling. Yeah.
Okay. Because
Okay.
some of the cars that we've been driving say, for example, 6-speed CVT. Are they saying that that's just an artificial something they're putting in?
Yeah. Just
Okay.
I it can be either marketing or just to give that artificial feeling. Yeah, it's really an artificial feeling because most cars that I've tested with, like for example 7 speed, but it's a CVT, you can
Exactly. It looks
barely
kind of
feel it.
weird.
Yeah, you can barely feel it. But it gives you the sensation of holding a gear. But the gear shift, you can barely feel it, which I think, like, for people looking for that nostalgia feel is what they're after.
Yeah, it doesn't have that click, click, click because it doesn't have a predetermined set of gears like first gear, second gear, third gear, or the
Mm-hmm.
automatic transmission was at like 10 speed na ba ngayon, di ba? It doesn't have that. It's constantly looking for the right gears. The belt that connects the input shaft with the output shaft is constantly looking for that right gear. So there's no gear to talk of, which is why
Yeah,
it's always linear. Eh. You don't have the feeling of click click. It doesn't have that. Which
yeah.
is why
So
some
here, do
manufacturers
this.
put in those sport modes just not to alienate those people who are used to driving those
Yes.
manual things before, diba?
I
Yeah,
did notice that the newer cars with CVTs have a sport mode compared to a few years back, next maybe 2 years ago when we had the Vios XE. Like
yeah,
the new
yeah.
Vios has a sport mode with paddle
Mm-hmm.
shifters.
Yeah. But back then, wala. Back then. But I guess Francis is right, so that they can, like, for those who feel alienated without having the gears, can have it. But if you ask me, it's really like it holds the gear, but it doesn't, like, in terms of the shift, it's really barely noticeable.
Yeah,
Because there are no
Would
you
gears
really
to
have to
speak
listen
of.
carefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
would it make a difference if you were going up a mountain? Would holding that gear make a difference if you're going up a mountain, like going to Baguio or the Tagaytay or something? Because
I
these are
think
all
it's something
smaller
to be
engines.
tested. Yeah, I think that's something to
Okay.
be tested, because I don't want to give an answer that I, like, don't have
Yeah.
experience on.
Well, in theory,
Okay.
the CVT will do the thinking for you. All you have to do is
Yes.
just press on the gas, diba?
Yes.
No set
Okay.
of gears, so it will just do the thinking for you.
Okay.
How
I
about
don't
the
know if any of you guys. Okay, I've had probably the longest experience with these transmissions because I've been here the longest. And when we first tried CVT transmissions or CVTs, they were very, very tough to drive when you're used to other stuff. And they had this thing called rubber banding, where you just press on the gas and it just kind of goes. It's kind of like really, really bad, lame turbo lag. And then it just when the power comes on, it's not that strong either. Now these were all new technologies at the time, and we've seen them change. And the changes that I felt were the best on consumer cars were when the Subarus, which have their own kind of unique torque profile, were able to maximize them. And that's where I felt that they were reaching the point where they were very, very positive. The reason we have these CVTs and all these modern funky transmissions is that they can only pull so much power out of an engine now. And even the engineers will tell us that most of the increases and gains in power and efficiency, as Francis said, and environmental concerns, they don't come from the engine anymore. They come from the transmission, because transmission is smart enough to get the engine to do something. And to do that, they need to be far more intelligent than they were. That's why they have moved away from traditional automatic transmissions to things like CVTs and dual clutch transmissions.
Yep, that's
So
correct.
they're much, much better. I don't know. Do you guys remember how bad some of these early CVTs were? Chris, do you?
Why are you asking me?
Because you're the next
No, yeah,
oldest.
yeah. No, yeah, it's come along. CVT's come a long way, definitely. Both in terms of fuel efficiency and power output.
Yeah.
But and they keep getting better too. And each manufacturer, they have their own. I wouldn't say proprietary, but their own special marketing
Mhm.
advantages for their own CVT models. So it's still it's not a perfected tech, but it's a continuously developing tech.
Yeah, it's getting better for
From, from what
sure.
from what I'm hearing so far, the advantages of CVTs is one, fuel efficiency, and one, it's better for the environment. Would you say that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree
because
Since,
with
less
with
emission.
since
with fuel efficiency, because unlike like conventional transmissions, you go through the gears, right? As you go through the gears, your revs drop and then rise again and then drop. You lose some of that momentum and then you gain it up again. It's that point where you consume fuel. Unlike the CVTs, it's just linear. It's constantly finding the right gear. So there's no drops in the revs. It maintains that revs all the way. So in turn, it equates to fuel efficiency, which is what car manufacturers are batting for. You don't
Yeah.
have to go
it's no
through that.
one it's no wonder that we're seeing CVTs and economy cars
Yes.
like the Vios and the
Yes,
City
Yeah.
and the Brio,
yes,
because those
yeah,
are the ones that are trying to who have drivers who are trying to save on fuel, which makes sense.
yeah.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
but my,
And
my
these are
question is
small
now,
displacement engines also.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it's better for small displacement engines.
Yes. Because
Yeah, cause
it.
yeah.
Francis,
Sige,
you go
next.
first. You go first.
Yeah, because you don't have to work so hard as to go through the gears anymore, diba?
There. Yeah. Okay. Same
It just
answer. Same
maintains
answer.
that momentum, diba? Yeah.
Yeah. So the two reasons why you see them on, like, economy cars is, well, one, efficiency, but two, because of cost of production. It's way cheaper to produce a CVT transmission versus an automatic transmission.
Less parts, not
Less
necessarily,
parts.
but
Yeah.
But it's a less
Well,
complicated system.
one question many have when it comes to CVTs is that it's harder and more expensive to maintain compared to your conventional automatics. How true is
Yes.
that?
When it comes to CVTs, first let's go to the automatic transmissions. So the automatic transmissions, they have gears, diba? And the gears are bigger, which means that when it comes to maintenance, they can like tolerate more punishment. Compared to CVTs, you really have to follow the recommended by the manufacturer when to maintain them. Like you cannot skip a beat, basically. Compared to automatic transmissions, now if you prolong the maintenance intervals, it can survive.
it can
Like
be,
as you saw
it
a
can,
while ago, nah,
automatic
it's
transmission can also be repaired, diba? You can
yes.
take it
So
apart and have that particular part replaced.
paired, yeah. Compared to CVTs, if there's anything wrong with the CVT, na something's busted in it, you will likely have to replace the whole transmission. So that's why it's more expensive because there's no in between when it comes to repairing a CVT. Unlike the automatic transmission, you just have to replace the parts necessary and then poof, like you have your transmission back. That's why
But
it's
then
more
again,
expensive.
it all boils down to proper use and maintenance. Eh. I don't think it's
Yes.
Yeah.
expensive if you use it properly and have it serviced regularly. I think it will last the lifetime of the car.
Yeah.
I've seen
The-
SCVTs that fail
Francis,
is because I know of one who turbocharged a CVT
Ayun.
unit. So he ended up, busting the whole unit. It
Yeah.
wasn't. All boils down to proper use and maintenance
Yeah.
also.
So
Maintenance, I see.
if you had to replace your entire tranny, so CVT would be more expensive than an
Yeah.
automatic.
Ah, like automatic and CVT, you have to replace the entire transmission.
Yep.
They'll roughly come out the same.
Uh,
But the
But you have to
automatic
order it from
transmission,
the
yeah,
car manufacturer, so it's really
manufacturer.
expensive. Yeah.
But at least with automatic transmissions, if there's a part that's not working, you can replace the part instead of the whole thing. Unlike
easier to repair
CVTs,
then.
yeah, yeah,
Easier to repair an automatic transmission.
yeah.
Because I'm wondering why would it be cheaper? Why would it be a cost-effective solution for manufacturers if it would be more expensive than automatic transmission? So it's easier to repair an automatic transmission. And that's what
Yeah.
makes it more that's what makes CVT transmissions more expensive for the consumer.
Yes.
But this
But
this is
in,
only if they really mistreat it and misuse it.
yeah, yeah,
Yes,
Generally,
yes,
I
yes.
find CVT transmissions to be pretty reliable.
yeah. As long as you
yeah,
follow
have you guys
the
seen any
maintenance.
failure? I
No,
mean,
I haven't.
Francis,
No,
No.
I haven't
on
heard
the
anything
tuner
about
side,
it.
Only that.
Yeah.
The
but
only
only
thing
that
I've
one, which
yeah,
is
yeah.
not that. I mean, come on, right? That's
Yeah, I
expected
know.
if you're
I know.
turbocharging.
Yeah.
No,
You're doing
and
the
for
wrong
me,
thing.
well, for what I've seen, like in the jazz club, the CVTs that fail are because they haven't maintained it at all or properly. Like they failed to change the fluids on the
Yeah, keep in
transmission.
mind also that CVTs require a different kind of transmission fluid. Eh. It's not just like your ordinary ATF. There's a specific CVT transmission fluid.
Oh, I didn't
CVT
know
oil
that.
for that. CVT
Yeah,
fluid,
yeah.
yeah.
That's
So
very
you have
important.
to
CVT fluid,
yeah
yeah.
you have to
Not
consult
just
your
your,
user
yeah.
manual.
Yes, yes. There's a CVT
Uh-oh.
fluid for that.
You know,
What did you do, Chris?
there are people kasi, there are people who think of CVTs as a normal automatics. Like, just
Yeah,
regular people buy a
Yeah.
car. And it's important to know the difference talaga.
it is. And to really look at the user manual and to see what proper fluid you need to fill it up. Because like me, like we've had this jazz for 150,000 kilometers, no problem. But yun nga, like, we really keep the maintenance in check. Okay, so the pros
Yeah.
and cons we discussed diba, na it's more fuel efficient and cost of production's cheaper. But when it comes, I guess the elephant in the room is versus automatic transmissions, that nostalgic feel. Like, what do you have to say, Francis, about that?
It's
There's
funny
no
how you're
comparing
saying
the,
automatic is the nostalgic feel one.
and then he brought it up to me, no? Then you can't compare. You can't compare. You can't compare the two because there are no gears to speak of. Unlike even in automatic transmission, despite the fact that they're automatic, you still they get that sensation that it's going through the gears, diba? Whether it's a 4-speed, 8-speed, 10-speed, it's still you get the sensation.
Yeah.
With the CVTs, unfortunately, there's no sensation like that. You won't get any sensation because it's constantly looking for that right gear for you.
It's blank.
Yeah, it's blank. Unfortunately, so there's no comparing for those.
And people.
So yeah,
Yeah. Go ahead.
sige, sige. So for those people who are looking for that, click, 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 you don't get a CVT. But I guess for ordinary daily drivers who want fuel efficient car, then CVTs are the thing. It's
And
the way
people
they-
really
Do you
do
g-
look for that. They look for that gear sensation, the upshifts and the
Yeah.
downshifts. They look
Yeah.
for that, and
Yeah,
that's
but
why
that's us.
every no, well,
I mean,
that's why
will a new
every
driver do it or
CVT
not?
car has plus minus or paddle shifts
Yeah.
now. I mean, I'd say 85 to 90% of cars with CVT have paddle shifters or
Yeah.
plus minus controls.
But I only
But do you think that
because
would
for
do you
those
think that would
people-
matter to a new driver? I
No.
mean, the guys who are
No.
just learning,
No.
because they're going to start learning on. I mean, if we're saying things like the City are a great first car for someone,
Yeah.
are they going to even notice
No.
what we're talking about?
I guess it depends on the person. If they have even the faintest desire to go fast or to feel like they're going fast, then they are gonna look for it. But if they really don't care, if they
Yeah.
just want to go from point A to point B,
Yeah.
they won't
Yeah.
look for it. They won't.
Yeah,
They
which
won't
I think is
even
the
miss it.
majority of the crowd.
Okay,
Yeah,
what
I
about
agree.
things like the Subarus? The Subarus, which I like the way they've tuned their CVTs. Do you feel that you need a more active transmission with the new Subarus
No,
or not?
I love them the way they are right now. That's
See, I don't. To me,
delivery.
they're at the point where, yeah. I mean, I could want more, but
So it goes
That's
to
always the
shows
case.
that there are manufacturers who can make like competent and fun CVTs.
Yeah,
Since you
Yeah.
that's something you
Subarus,
look to the
Subarus there.
Subarus. Yeah.
like a super
That's the-
intelligent CVT.
I mean, I
Yeah.
yeah.
Diba?
Here's a
CVT that
question,
thinks
Francis.
really, really fast.
Here's a question. Since people regularly rechip or retune their boxes for the engine management systems, can you do that for a CVT?
For CVT, I don't.
Yeah.
But that would be just like
Would you do it for a CVT?
I wouldn't do it because that would be like artificial. Because
Yeah.
no matter how you tune the CVT, the engine output stays the same. So I'm an engine kind of person, so it's like cheating. Because no matter how you tune the CVT, if your engine is only rated at like let's say 160, it will still pump out 160 horses. So diba, it's
That's
like
true.
defeating, diba? So I'd rather tune the engine than the CVT first because at least I know I'm pumping more. But if you tune just the CVT, if the engine is factory rated at 160, it stays at 160.
You're
So
only
getting
gonna
it
get that
faster.
power. Yeah, that's
Yes,
true.
yes.
Well, do you
Although it
get
could-
like
it-
more wheel horsepower if you?
I guess in a way you could also tune the CVT because,
Yeah.
but the thing is it doesn't have any set of gears.
Yeah,
It's
that's
always
the-
finding the gears for you. Siguro, that's why I was saying to Nix kanina, can you develop a CVT with like super intelligent powers so that it thinks so super fast? Because with the CVT, it's always finding.
No, I'm
the
sure you
gears.
could. That's the thing. I'm sure you could.
Yeah,
in paper.
I'm
in
really sure you
paper,
could.
in theory, yeah,
paper,
in theory,
diba?
yeah. But
yeah.
but
Like if the
thing-
Subaru has done it, diba?
Yeah.
well, that's also true. Yeah,
Diba?
like the Livorno
Something
and
that
the
thinks-
Outback and
Yeah, something that thinks faster. Because it's
Yeah.
always looking for that right gear.
Well, you guys were
It's
saying
always
that,
looking.
Nix, you were saying that some of the engineers have told you that
oh yeah,
the delay
yeah,
is a
yeah.
safety
the
thing,
delay.
right? Because you don't
Even on
want.
automatic transmissions. Even on
Yeah.
automatic,
Okay.
like that
So
delay.
if that's the case, that means you could retune it, or you could,
to be more responsive.
remember the old
You have
But
to be more
piggyback,
responsive lang.
Francis,
But-
the old piggyback things where you're kind of
Yeah,
tricking
yeah.
the
yeah,
box.
Yeah,
yeah.
It,
It those
just like-
things
Did you ever drag
bypass-
race
Just like-
CVTs?
I don't think. I don't think so.
No, but I agree with
I think you
Francis.
should try.
Even at most, you can make the CVT be way
Yeah.
more responsive.
Yeah,
but
way more
not,
responsive,
No power
yeah.
output, but no power.
Just like
output.
those, just like those throttle boxes. You know, the one that you plug into your throttle, the accelerator pedal.
I did that to the Genesis Coupe. Like when you press both.
How was it? But you're just fooling yourself. It's like taking off the delay, right, from the throttle.
It just that's the only reason. It
diba?
only takes out the delay. But of course,
Yeah.
the people who don't know will think that more power. No, it's just less
Well,
delay.
Technically, that would improve your 0 to 100 times, right? I mean,
yeah.
from the time you stamp on the pedal
Yeah,
to the time you get to 100, a less
but-
delay means you'll get there faster.
yeah. It just takes out the delay.
Yeah,
In that but it really just takes out the delay. That's the most you can do to tune a CVT to remove the delay. But adding power, no. Like, nah, I
So you
wouldn't
would
say
remove the
that.
delay. Look, you did that to the Genesis, but the Genesis did not have a CVT, right? It had a regular transmission.
No, it's regular automatic transmission.
Okay. So if you did it to a CVT, all you would be doing was, if the graph was here, you'd just be moving it there,
Tama,
basically,
yeah.
right?
Well,
yeah.
Out there, yeah.
You wouldn't have any change in the power.
No,
because
not
of-
at all.
right? I mean, there's no power curve change.
But that delays for safety reasons. Just in case you have a wrong input, like it won't happen.
fail safe.
Yeah, well, yeah.
feature.
Yeah, because I asked
Yeah.
about the 0 to 1.
Okay.
Like when we were there test driving the Impreza, I asked that. I'm like, why is there a delay? Like when you were testing other cars and then maybe you drove the Impreza, there was like a noticeable delay compared to the other cars. And then they told us it was for safety reasons. So I'm like, okay.
Okay. But basically, what we've seen is that the CVTs that we've been seeing for a while are just improving constantly. They're a fixture of our lives because they need to be there so that manufacturers can meet all the not safety, but environmental and economy concerns that are basically dictated to them by governments and by the public.
Yeah,
so
true.
these CVTs, in reality, are, as we have said, the key component to getting these last little bits of engine power out.
Yeah.
That's why the 1.5 liter engines, 3 cylinders sometimes, are just this great tight package, because now the little power, not the little power, but the lesser amount of power that they can produce can be more intelligently handled by these CVTs.
Yes,
We found some where we find them lacking, and we will stay on sport as long as we can. We have others, like those with the Subarus, where we're pretty happy with, they match. They're not
And they're
stomping,
fun to drive.
gut-wrenching. They're fun. They're actually fun. They're nice, balanced. They're a better holistic package of a car, while still making drastic improvements in economy and environmental friendliness. So they're going to be around. They're going to be in more and more cars, and we are seeing that the cap at which they use a CVT, it used to be a very, very small engine. Now we're seeing that move up.
Yeah.
So that means they're able to handle all the torque issues that before they could not. And do we think that new buyers are going to care that this is a CVT or not? I don't
I
know.
don't think so.
Honestly, I don't
they'll
think so.
look more on the results. That one I'm
On
sure.
the results and on
Yeah.
the maintenance.
Yeah.
But that's something that
Mhm.
we're trying to clear up also.
Yeah. So
Like-
make sure you're putting the right fluids, guys.
Proper driving and proper
Okay, so
Proper driving also. Yes.
would a car having a CVT would a car having a CVT make you change your mind for a
No.
purchase, or would it be dependent
It depends.
on how the car was handling?
If I was buying a Porsche, yeah, I would have second thoughts. Yeah, I would have second thoughts about a CVT on a Porsche. But on a Vios or a City, absolutely no.
No, Porsche would never release a car
No,
with a
no,
CVT
okay.
that didn't handle
No,
like
no,
it should.
okay.
It's
Yeah,
that
yeah.
simple. They wouldn't do it. Subaru wouldn't do it either.
If okay.
I
like,
would
for
still have my doubts.
For example, there was the next 911 had a CVT, for example, but if I had the money and it felt good to drive, I wouldn't mind. For me, it boils down to how it feels.
So you don't mind going down the highway with sounding.
Yeah, I'm still in the
Well,
good
okay.
looking Porsche, Chris.
Look at it this way. That's exactly what happens with electric cars, fully electric cars, because they don't have the gearing.
True.
However, they just do it much more quickly.
Mm.
It's
Yeah.
it's
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 the
just
future.
a compression of the increase in power and a compression of the time. But in reality, there are no gears except for the
Yeah.
Taycan Turbo S has
Yeah.
2 gears, right? And that's what gives it insane acceleration.
I've
But
seen people
anyway,
get shocked
okay,
with
would you?
Taycan
Because
acceleration.
I would not at this point. I would not care. Having said that, I bought the outgoing legacy wagon specifically because I wanted the old transmission and not a new CVT
Ooh,
at
yeah,
that
I
time.
remember.
No, I did, and that was the last big engine, old school transmission car. But nowadays, I wouldn't want the Lavorg with the Lavorg has a CVT, right?
CVT.
I wouldn't want it with an automatic transmission. I think it's fine the way it is.
They nailed it right. Subaru nailed it right to make the CVT feel good to drive. Whatever their magic
Yeah, they
potion
did. I
is.
think. Yeah. Okay. So basically, that's it. CVTs are here to stay.
They are the future.
The old school guys. We just get our manuals.
Yes.
Whatever. Learn to play with new toys.
Project
So,
card.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, so what if we wrapped up with Paolo? Who are CVTs for?
CVTs are perfect for those who just need to get from point A to point B, who don't care about fast driving, those who care about fuel efficiency. CVTs are perfect for them, especially for those looking to buy economy cars like the Brio, City, Vios. And eventually, maybe we'll see them more in more economy cars like sedans.
Can't wait.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, everyone. This has been Paolo. This has been Nick. This has been Chris. This has been Francis. This is me, Carl. Thank you for joining us once again.
Bye, guys.
See you guys.